All right, we are back. I didn't do any streaming this week. Mm-mm-mm. We had big plans, didn't we? We still do. We'll get back to it tomorrow. We still do. I took a break. Y'all always tell me I need to go to sleep. You always tell me I'm always tired. That's what y'all say. It's like, when do you rest? Well, I rested. I rested. How about that? Not really, but really. I had streams ready to go. I just didn't do them. It's all good. Casual economist, what's going on? How are you? Oh, this stream right here is gonna be a controversial stream. Um, am I gonna be petty? I don't know. I don't know. How's my lighting? I feel like my lighting is off. Oh, okay. I feel like my lighting's off. A little t-shirt is bothering me. There we go. Felt like I had an ending. Um, yeah, we're gonna have petty time, petty tea, petty tisms. I don't know. What should I call this? Tea tisms. I don't know. Petty tea tisms. What's going on, smart money chick? How you doing? So let's go ahead and address what everybody's been talking about. They call it Freaknik 94. The only reason why they call it Freaknik, um, thank you. Thank you, Smart Money TV. Now, they call it Freaknik 94. I'm from Atlanta. I'm gonna say this. Will I be seen in the video? Probably. Walking by, one or the other. Who knows? Do I care? Absolutely not. Why do I not care? Because my clothes did not get snatched off. I was not twerking on top of cars. I was not in a convertible with one leg up in the air getting ready for a Luke concert. Now, we got that out the way. Let's talk about what you might see on some of these videos, being that I was a freak. That's what we did. Let's talk about some of your uncles, your granddaddies, your mamas, your cousins. Me and Dee had this discussion. She's been forewarned. She knows. First up, let's talk about where the people come from when they got the Freaknik. And we're gonna talk about some things today. It's gonna set some people off. There are gonna be some comments. Some people gonna share these things. It's okay. Let's talk about where people came from in general. And I had this conversation with Dee. They came from New York, Florida, Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland. Nah, D, change it to Freaknik. Just we're gonna talk about all the years. We're gonna talk about all the years. Now, from my understanding, from my understanding, Freaknik started in '83. From my understanding, so therefore, it's some of your grandfathers that was there too, and your mamas. Some of your grandmamas, your mamas, mamas was there. What are video clips out of them? Let's talk about it. If you from Atlanta, you know people are like, "Oh my goodness, they were twerking." Let's talk about it because I think people get things misconstrued. In the South, you're going to dance. If you grew up in Atlanta, you dance. It wasn't no two step. In the '90s, you grew up, you danced. You went to the club to dance. That's what you did. You danced. You might have had a choreographed dance. You might have danced by yourself. If you from Chicago, I know y'all house dance. If you from the DMV, you go. Stop it. All these people out here talking about Freaknik is gonna really show uh and this is what they say. It's what the streets is saying. It says this video is gonna show the true nature of a black woman, right? I was at Freaknik. Let me tell you some real things that happen. You could be sitting in a car and you may see a guy in another car. And you might be like, oh, where y'all getting ready to go? Nowhere. We sitting in traffic. We ain't going nowhere. We sitting in traffic. We ain't going nowhere. Where we trying to go is here. But good old fashioned Atlanta, block off the exits, have people just driving in one big circle and sitting in traffic. Or they shut down the city. It was notorious for that. So what will people do? They pull over to the side of the road or they get out their cars and walk up and down the highway. That's what they did. Restaurants might be packed. IHOP was packed. The Huddle House was packed. It used to be a Huddle House downtown. The Varsity is packed. JR Crickets is packed. Everything's packed. What the other side of Atlanta, of being at Freaknet, they don't talk about is the parties, the Atlanta Lives, the Illusions, the 20 grands, the 559s over at Clark, um, at the park, the concerts, um, rooftops, um, the hotel parties. When I say hotel parties, literally like hotel parties, not somebody going in somebody's room. No, you're talking about that, right? The other part of Freaknik that they don't talk about is, and the videos are out, where there were some men engaged into snatching off women clothes, and people were like, well, why would they do that? Why would they snatch their clothes off? You walking down the street, somebody snatch your clothes off. Let me say this, and I mean this with the sincerest respect. Women who were from Atlanta knew better. I'm putting on the t-shirt. I'm putting on the t-shirt. I'm not wearing nothing skimpy. Why? Because I know just the nature of the men. That's just who they were. I'm not making no excuses. I'm just telling you the truth. That's just who they were. Have I seen um two or three women take off running and 100 guys run after them? Absolutely. Absolutely. Right down there by little 5 points. Have I seen have I seen men in the back of U-Hauls? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Have I seen men walking around in biking shorts with their print out? Yes, absolutely, I have. Have I seen men walking around with their shirts off and their pants pulled down to you can just about see everything? Absolutely. Absolutely, I have. What else have I seen? If you ever been to carnival, you ever been down to carnival, any carnival, Brazil, Trinidad, New York, Berlin, Amsterdam. If you ever been to carnival, St. Thomas, Grenada, Houston, Miami. If you ever been to carnival, you're gonna see the same thing. They were like, oh no, excuse me, it's respectable. Okay. If you ever seen a man jump on a woman back, you ever seen 3 or 4 men or surrounding a woman, seen it all. They don't talk about the strippers. There were male strippers, guys and dolls. Let's not talk about that. Is you not gonna see debauchery? I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna say you gonna see everything. What do you think, Luke? What Luke used to come to Atlanta and down 20, you get off of Moreland, make a right. You used to go all the way down by the DMV. It used to be a club over there. and Luke would come to the club over there. It used to be Kroger across the street in the parking lot. And in this parking lot was the DMV. And in the DMV area, in the DMV, it used to be a show that used to come on TV. They would record live from this club, and you can catch it on like a Wednesday or Thursday night. And they be in the club and they be in there dancing and the whole nine. And he used to come to this club. He used to come to Atlanta. When Luke come to Atlanta, Luke is gonna bring all the strippers to Atlanta. And the line would be from all the way down by this particular Kroger, all the way back up to 20, all the way back up to Little Five Points. If you know Atlanta, you know exactly the road I'm talking about. And what would happen? The police would be there. They'll be directing traffic, and the parking lot will be full. Now, this parking lot is a massive parking lot. It would spill over from that parking lot all the way over the Kroger parking lot and any surrounding area parking lots of men and women, particularly men that's trying to get in the club. VIP, front door, back door, cut the line, parking lot pimping, right? What do you think Doodoo Brown came from? Like a lot of people are like, what is Doodoo Brown? What do you mean? Right? So, am I scared about this video coming out? Absolutely not. That don't bother me. That video don't bother me. I can tell you I'm not gonna be in that video. And if I am, you probably gonna see me be like, hell no, Shawty. That's probably what I said. Hell no, Shawty. That's probably what I was saying. No. Yep. Don't stop. Get it. Get it. What do you think? Akinelli, just put it in your mouth. Where do you think all that stuff come from? The man made the songs. The man made the songs. The man make the songs. Put it in your mouth. Akinelli. This was before Lil Kim. When Lil Kim came out, everybody was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe she came out like that. Oh my God. Before Lil Kim was Madonna and Cher. Right? I swear. So look, this is the question I posed today because I hear a lot of talk about this. This for men and women. We're gonna start with the women first. If the tape comes out, you and your husband been married for 20 years, 30 years, and you see he in the video and he out there and he chasing this girl and he in the video he chasing this girl and he start tongue kissing this girl and having sex with her right there in public. Are you gonna divorce your husband? That's your husband that's on the video. Are you divorcing her? Men, you got a video that's out that's about to come out from Freaknik, whatever. And let me caveat this too. What JD and Luke got has nothing on people who got videos firsthand around the city. They ain't the only one with videos. Y'all know y'all weren't married then. The video came out. But you see your husband was doing something in that video, but y'all weren't married then. Y'all met a couple of years later. Okay. So for the fellas, a video comes out, Freaknik, and your wife that you've been with now for 20 years is in the back of a U-Haul stripping and dancing on a pole. Are you gonna divorce her? Remember, she had a life before you. Do you divorce her? Y'all married. Your marriage going good. Y'all all right. It's petty tea time. She is the mother of your children. And you look up, there's a guy in this video all over your wife All in the video like Diddy. She all in the video, and all you see in the video is the boobies doing this in the video. All in the video. All in the video. What you doing? You divorcing? Hmm? Ladies, you divorcing him because you see him walking around Freaknik 94 in some biker shorts and you can see his print because there was plenty of it. Just asking questions. Because word on the curb is men are like, I'm divorcing my wife if I see her in the video. Yeah, oh yeah, the men always be walking around with their shirt off, with the t-shirt wrapped around the back of their neck, and then you got the joint right here, and then they got the pants, they got just the pants on, they don't even have no underwear on, and they just got a deep V. You can see the deep V, right? All in the video, right? You see this, and you're gonna see some of this. I'm just trying to prepare you. All in the video. What you doing? What you gonna do? You divorcing her? Mm. I just got questions. I got questions. I got questions of did you really love the person? Cause what I'm hearing men and women say, they were like, I feel like I've been lied to. I feel like I've been lied to. Oh, they lied to me. Oh, they lied to. So the question is, who is willing to put a mirror on their life? Who's willing to put a mirror on their life? Right? Right? Some of you, some of you, I ain't say all of you, some of you, some have been engaged with married men and married women. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. Some of you still cheating on your husband and your wife to this very day. And it don't have to be physical cheat. It can be an emotional cheat. It could be a financial cheat. But we're going to talk about abuse today. We're going to talk about abuse today. We're going to talk about abuse. We're going to talk about financial abuse, um, which could be a part of mental abuse as well too, right? Where sometimes, in and it's going to lead into another conversation. Sometimes you all need to ask the questions. You need to ask the question. The truth be told, you have been beneficiary of some of the freaknik stuff in your bedroom. So yeah. So no surprise. Yeah, some of you are freaknik babies. Some of you are freaknik babies. Some of you are freaknik babies. Right? So let's get into the show. And then let's get into the different ways that we're gonna see abuse, right? Um, let's get into it, D. All right, so we're gonna start out, and I'm gonna lead into it. Pew Research is saying in a growing share of U.S. marriages, husbands and wives earn about the same. Husband and wives earn about the same. Hmm. So let's put a spin on this. Can a marriage sustain if both husband and wife are earning the same and the wife starts to make more money than the husband? Can it last? Can it last? Do I think some people in the video will get canceled and lose their jobs? They probably get canceled. Losing their jobs, as it's job dependent. What's going on? What's going on, Sharice? Right? I think there's a 7 to 8 second delay between us and here, between us and the chat. All right. So, in a growing share of U.S. marriages, husbands and wives earn about the same. Even when earnings are similar, husbands spend more time on paid work and leisure, while wives devote more time to caregiving and housework. It says among married couples, and it's blurry. Let me blow that up. That would look a little blurry. Where's my little thingy? Bring it back down. I don't know where it went. Here we go. Got off the screen here. All right. Among married couples in the United States, women's financial contributions have grown steadily over the last half century, while men remain the breadwinner in majority of the opposite sex marriages. Keywords, they're opposite sex marriages. They had to denote that. The share of women who earn as much or significantly more than their husband has roughly tripled over the past 50 years. Uh-oh. 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 The share of women who earn as much as or significantly more than their husband has roughly tripled over the past 50 years. In 29% of the marriages today, both spouses earn about the same amount of money. Just over 55% of marriages today have a husband who is the primary or sole winner, and 16% have a breadwinner wife. Even as financial contributions have become more equal in marriages, the way couples divide their time between paid work and home life remains unbalanced. Women pick up the heavier load, and when it comes to the household chores and caregiving responsibilities, while men spend more time at work and leisure. This is a true egalitarian marriage where both spouses earn roughly the same amount of money. And in the marriages where the wife is the primary earner, the only marriage type where husbands devote more time to caregiving than their wives is one in which the wife is the sole breadwinner. In those marriages, wives and husbands spend roughly the same amount of time per week on household chores. As a backdrop to all of this, a majority of Americans say that society values men contributions as at more work than their contributions at home. Only 7% say society values men contributions at home more than work. And 35% say these contributions are valued about equally. When it comes to women, about half of the adults, 49%, say the contributions women make at work and at home are valued about equally. Some 31% say women's contributions at home are valued more than they do at work, and 20% say just the opposites, right? This is coming from Pew Data, their research findings of adults. They did a survey of 5,152 adults, conducted from January the 18th to the 24th of 2023. And then they go on into this, right? So I'm gonna stop right there now and I'll finish it up. But I wanted to look at this as well too, right? All right, it's showing here wives are gaining economic influence while carrying a heavier burden at home. So no matter what, whether you work or not, you still got the equal burden, right? Still got the equal burden. So 85% was up here in 1972, where the husband was the primary or the sole breadwinner, and now that has dropped down, looks like to 55% in 2022. Here, the wife was the primary or sole breadwinner has increased from 5% to 16%. And here, where they're equally making the same amount of money, that has increased from 11% to 29%. And this is kind of true. right? With what we see, right? We see that are, was it, is it 7 million or 10 million men missing out of the workforce, right? We see, let me make sure I got my numbers right. Men missing out of the workforce. What was that number? It said millions, but it was a number that they gave. Let me go back up here and see what if they give a number in here. And let me bring this down. All right. Let's see. Dirty job. 7.2 million. Yeah. All right. I was right. 7.2 million. 7.2 million men missing out of the workforce. Right. And then we also got layoffs. We also got over 800,000 manufacturing jobs that are empty. Thanks, Peter Investor. Thank you for the super chat. We got 7.2 million men missing out of the workforce. We got the wages for men and women are seem like they're coming together, right? Or at least evening out, right? Marriages are down. We don't have enough. We're not creating enough workforce for the generation behind us, right? Birth rates are down. So it is a natural show of I mean basically chaos. I mean we're living in it, right? But yet we're worried about the Freaknik tape. But that's beside the point of this conversation. uh, so the question becomes is what happens because it is gonna be a prediction, right? We see it. What's gonna happen when the women out earn the men, right? What's gonna happen when the women out earn the men? Um, let's see, college uh, graduation rates by gender. Some 66.4% of all women had earned a degree with 6 years compared to 60% of the men. And this is of November of 2022. Let's look. Now, you'll say not everybody should go to college and not everybody needs a degree. You can make it in tech or what have you without a degree, this, that, and other. All right. So in times like this right here that we're having where we got a lot of layoffs, it's all about may the best man win, right? Are you coachable? Do you know your stuff? I can tell you from a government contracting perspective, you need a degree. It's just what it is. You got to have a degree. You can do an internship, but on a government contracting side, you're going to need a degree. It's just one of their things. Now, say you don't get, you're not doing government contracting, you're working for a startup or what have you. Most of the times when they're early stage startups, they're working with their buddies and they're working with the schools that they either went to or they got a connection with. For example, if someone dropped out of Yale or Harvard and they have a startup, 9 times out of 10, they're going to go back to Yale or Harvard to look for people who are in school to come work for them. Or they're going to pull from that pool of their network in order to work. So now you have to ask the question is, how are you going to get into these different networks? So if you're not going to go down the route of getting your college degree, how are you going to go after getting into these different networks? what are you going to use to stand out, to be in those networks? How are you going to add value? And that's a conversation we're going to have on the next show, is adding value. When you meet someone, how do you add value to that person? How do you add value to them? That's how you're going to be in those networks, right? Journey to Jasmine said, can it be any degree? Yeah, that there, I haven't seen anything about, like, oh my goodness, you got a degree in finance and you can't work in tech. I haven't seen that. I've seen a lot of people just transition from finance to security and compliance. So yeah, I hadn't seen, like, oh my goodness. All right, especially if you put in your years of training, like you've worked with in the cloud or something like that. No one really cares at that point. They really care about the results. Are you producing? Right? So I'm bringing this up because it's a really good question on how sustainable is marriage if the woman is the breadwinner in the marriage. And when I say when the woman is the breadwinner in the marriage, let's just play devil's advocate here. Let's say she makes 75 and the man make 50. And they meet. Because you always say that men are supposed to be the provider. So if the man is supposed to be the provider and you say her degree and her money don't matter, so does that mean she get to keep her money? And y'all live off the 50,000 and she stack? I be having questions. I just want to know. It's the petty T in me. I can't help it. Right? It can be hard on a man's ego. It can be. But then the question becomes, is this how I look at it. How do we sustain the family? How do we sustain the family? And when I say family, it doesn't include kids. It could be just you and that guy or you and that woman. It doesn't matter. How do we sustain and keep each other afloat? Right? You said, Stacy G, you said, oh yeah, especially during the pandemic, there were a lot of career switchers with different, yep, yep. What's going on, Jawan? I want to make sure I say your name. Maybe Juan and not Jawan. Maybe Juan. He lets me stack and when I have cash, but I just throw out, oh, I got paid. I got paid for that. Journey James, I think under a certain amount, that gender thing shouldn't matter. If y'all both make money, if y'all both make under 150K, then just aggregate the funds and stick to the family budget and goals. We sustain the family with prayer and smiles. So this is a question. I'm asking it now, because this is going to happen. It's going to get to a point where women are going to make more than men, not just because the woman is out working or what have you. There's just factors that are happening, and we see it right in front of our eyes. That the manual labor of the man working with his hands, some of that is going away. And we see that with AI and robotics. We see that. We also see that for women, some of that is going away as well too. Um, I'm wondering, and I thought about this: how is AI and robotics going to play into nursing? There still needs to be a human touch there. However, with the fact that they're creating robots, that's not that right there may not tend to be an issue. Less human error because we've seen nurses that have been euthanizing their patients and taking them out. There's been plenty of Hallmark videos on that, plenty of that. Now the question becomes is, do we actually really depend on humans to keep us alive? And can we depend on a robot? right? Can we just depend on some type of scan to say that this person has this and that in their system, this, that, and another, right? The global conference for longer living that took place in the Swiss Alps, um, part of an ESG fund that is really going into um, a lot of money going into that, and so we're going to see a lot of that coming out. AI is already in nursing registration check-in. Yeah, yep, they already have AI for the lonely ones, regarding them of medicine, giving them conversation. Exactly. Yep. You be okay with a robot nursery? Yeah. But I'm bringing this up because right before your eyes, you're seeing your life change right in front of you. You're seeing where AI, robotics, you're seeing where machine learning, you're seeing where humans are becoming cattle, if you really want to look at it. If you really want to break it down, you're becoming cheap. You're becoming a commodity. We're not too far off. Not even with Fed now, we're not too far off from being the Social Security number. That's really what you are. What are you? I am 1245. All right. I am 1245. Sector 5, 1245. State your name. State your number. Right? You're not too far from that. You're also not too far from living in space. We've already seen that. Y'all just don't hear a lot about it, but we're not too far from that. Engineering Academy said telemedicine is going to be huge in maternity care. Yep. Well, here's the other thing too is midwives are blowing back up, and black women are looking to stay at home more. So having someone study medicine and understanding birth and so forth at home is huge to have in the family. That's huge. uh, because black women are like, you just because I'm trying to have this baby don't mean I need to die. Black women are more likely to have complications and die than any other group. So it doesn't even benefit a black woman to be pregnant and go to the hospital. Not if she's gonna have death. It's just a fact. So the next question I have is, when this does happen, and it will, what is going to be the stance? What how do you define a provider? How do you define a provider? Right? So here they show the way it works is they got paid work, leisure, caregiving, and housework. So let me blow it up so you can really see it. All right. So here they got average numbers of hours spent each week. So 44 hours on paid work, 41 hours for men, I mean for wife. On leisure, husband has 25, the wife has 21. And then when it comes to caregiving and housework, 6.9%, 4.6% for, I mean, 4.6 hours, 6.9 hours on caregiving and housework, right? And then right here it says the earning analysis limited to the opposite set marriages include ages between 25 and 64. 25 and 64. Let me see. Oh, a primary breadwinner earns more than 60% of the couple's joint earnings. A sole breadwinner earns 100% of the couple's earnings. All right. Uh, AI isn't a cure all. Nope. Even the self-driving version of Tesla about 5 years ago didn't recognize black people because the data set didn't. I guess the data set didn't recognize the pigmentation of black people. Yeah, I mean we've seen that, right? What's going on, intentional millionaire? But this is what I want us to get to. I want us to get to the place where we can have healthy conversations. I'm not even talking about marriages. I'm talking about healthy conversations and healthy relationships. And the only way you're going to be able to have these healthy conversations and healthy relationships is you're going to have to be honest with each other, and you got to be honest with yourself. I mentioned this before. Some of you financially abuse yourselves, and then some of you emotionally abuse yourselves as well. And probably don't even, you probably been living in abuse for so long that you don't even know that you're doing it. And so the question becomes is how do you recognize these things? How do you get to the place where you can have a healthy relationship? How do you have a how do you yourself have a healthy relationship with money? How do you yourself have a healthy relationship and have a conversation and be able to have that conversation about money? Now, I'm going to ask this in the chat. I kind of know the answer. How many of you can have a healthy conversation with your friends about money? I, I just want to know. I just want to know. Yep, generational poverty, generational abuse. And it's not even just the generational abuse. It's just even like just not even knowing that you're living in this, I guess I don't want to say endless trauma, but it's just a endless downplay of what you can accomplish. Let me say it that way. Right? Who can talk about finances to their friends? Wait says, nope, not me. Don't feel comfortable. That's a problem. We got to solve that. Yes, now, but before it was like TA. I'm not sure what TA means. Intentional millionaire. Macamille, you say nope. Some friends I can, some friends I won't even touch the subject. It varies for me personally, but you got some friends though, right? So why did I bring that up? Um, that's your friend group. I'm gonna assume talking to your family, you can't do that. I'm gonna make that assumption. So now let's make some correlations here. If you can't talk to your friends and you can't talk to your family about it, who do you talk to? That's one. And number two, why do you think black people are behind? Right? One of the reasons, not the only, but one of the reasons. Right? So if you can't talk to your friends and you can't talk to your family and you're not willing to go talk to a financial planner or a financial advisor, you just being a you're just going to be in an endless cycle of abusing yourself. Just an endless cycle of abusing yourself. Right? You're in an endless cycle of abusing yourself. You can't talk to your friends. You can't talk to your family. You won't go to a financial planner or advisor. You won't utilize the things that are out there to help you get there because there's a level of mistrust when it comes to insurance and financial planning with black people and doctors with black people. So who do you trust? How do you vet people? How do you ask the hard questions? How do you even date if you all can't even have, if you can't have a conversation with yourself and you can't have a conversation with your family and you won't go get help? How do y'all get married? And what is the principles that you stand on in this marriage? And what are the principles that you set forth when you all are out here dating? How do you do it? If you can't do the basics, love does not conquer paying bills. When Uncle Sam calls and or the light bill gets called, no one cares about how much you love somebody. I love him. He said he paid it, but I love him. She said she wasn't gonna run up the car by going to. She said she wasn't gonna go do that. She ran up the car. How do you do it? I'm just seeing a lot of problems here. Help me to help you. You won't talk to your family. You won't talk to your friends. You won't get a CPA. You won't get a financial advisor. You won't do this. You won't do that. I hear a lot of you won't do, but you want to be married, but you want to be in a relationship, but you want to have a healthy relationship, but you can't even be healthy with yourself. So how in the hell are you going to be healthy with someone else? Help me understand. This is men and women. This ain't got nothing to do with gender. This is men and women. Men, women, and family. Help me understand. You go on a date, you like, okay, I got a Groupon. Okay, you pay on the Groupon. Then y'all move to the next phase. Like, she ain't give it up on the third date. She ain't give it up on the fourth date. But you over here talking about dating and you broke. We too broke to argue. Help me understand. I'm trying to understand. Why can't we have a healthy conversation about finances? Why can't we have a healthy conversation with ourselves about finances? Why can't we have a healthy conversation with our family about finances? What are we doing? What are we doing to the point where we cannot have a healthy conversation? Is because we don't want to hear it? Is because it's too painful to talk about? Is it we think somebody gonna get our money? Like the girl said, well, old girl said, give me back my stuff. Give me back my stuff. What is it? Are we in fear of losing something? What is the fear? What are we fearing? Do you feel like you don't have enough skill sets where you can make the money? Do you feel like your skill set you're out of the game? What is it? I don't understand. I'm trying to understand. Help me understand. What are we doing? What are we doing? And I'm just really talking about you as an individual. We'll move into the relationships, but you as an individual, do you have a healthy relationship financially with yourself? With yourself. Because I don't know, you know how y'all walk into a marriage with it. And I hear this all the time online. Oh, the woman she don't need to have a good credit score. I could just put her on my stuff and we can come up that way. But yeah, now you trusting her on your credit score. You don't know what she could do and what she's capable of and not capable of. Let's talk about financial abuse. Okay, so that article came out. I saw it with the guy that got married to the girl, the football player, soccer player that got married to the girl. She went to divorce him, but 80% of the stuff is in his mama's name. He got 80% of his stuff in his mama's name. So that clearly tells me there was no conversation about finances up front. And he is, and whoever his CPA or person is, clever, but then that's financial abuse to himself. Because now, if his mama control his finances and she decides that she want to just go lollygag and just go off and do whatever she want to, she could. Again, it's about I keep hearing this theme. I keep hearing trust, but not only do I keep hearing trust, I keep hearing mistrust of yourself. Right? I'm hearing mistrust. I got questions about why he didn't put his stuff into an estate. Or is it in an estate and his mom is in his mom name as the estate owner? So now I got questions like, how did she even function in the marriage? Did she have an allowance? Did she have to work for herself? What was I have questions about that. So now here she go to get divorced, and they're like, oh no, you can't get nothing. So whatever she came in with, she leave with, but she's giving up her life to him. Then everybody be like, oh my goodness, she was older than him. She should have known what the game was. Da 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 da. Woo, woo, woo. His mama just gonna have to cash them checks. Right? Right? I'm glad you're in your 20s. Your mom and dad gave you financial health, right? So I have a lot of questions about what are we doing, right? What are we doing, ladies? What are you doing? Are you going on dates with men and y'all don't talk about finances? And I hear the stuff in the streets. If a woman talk about finances and doing y'all dates, you need to ditch her because she just trying to get half. No, she just trying to see if you okay. Are you behind? Do you how many student loans do you have? Are you in the rears on child support? Did y'all hear about the woman that was no, it was a man and a woman. It was two women and a woman. All right, so the man and the woman was married. They got divorced. He met a new woman. She met a new woman. He met a new woman. He didn't have a discussion with her that he was in the rears on his child support, so they garnished her paycheck too. They garnished her paycheck and his paycheck. And so she called the ex-wife and she called the ex-wife and she was like, why you doing this to us? She was like, taking this money, and I work 12 hours a day. Taking this money is going to have us homeless because we don't have any way to pay our bills and we have children. And she was like, you got to take that up with the child support office. She's like, well, can you just take them off? She's like, no, my children need help. And he in the rears. Yeah. So you're not even having a conversation about what you owe. Y'all just out here just like, he loves me. It's special. Little different. Is this what y'all doing? Is that what y'all doing? That don't make no sense. Again, why can't y'all have these conversations? Why can't y'all have this conversation? Fellas, be honest. Be like, boo, I ain't got it. Boo, I ain't got it. Boo, I ain't got it. I got student loans. I got child support. I got this. And this is why some of y'all be shacking up. Cause he got that or she got that or y'all both got that. So y'all just go in there and just shack it on up. Just in there, just deading it up. Y'all just dead. We're just gonna dead it up. Right? We just gonna dead it up. Oh yeah, we just gonna dead it up. Like, that don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Help me to help you. Right? Financial abuse. Some of you financially abuse yourself. I'm in a bind, Nate. Some of y'all abuse yourselves. Right? People be acting awkward and switch up. Yeah. If anybody got to switch up the conversation on you and y'all just trying to have a financial talk, this is, see for me, this is probably why I'm single, right? Because I want to have that financial talk one or two, maybe three dates in. We ain't got to, I'm in a bind, Nate ain't got to come up to me after we done moved in together. You ain't got to worry about me. You ain't got to worry about me. You ain't got to worry about me. I want to know beforehand. You just trying to get to know somebody and just trying to see. Let me tell you, the quickest way to find out about somebody is through finances. How they spend money, where they spend money, how often they spend money. That's the quickest way. You want to know if somebody got a healthy relationship with themselves? You'll find out. Oh, you gonna learn today. Oh, you gonna learn today. All right, so I got a video because I found this very interesting. I had several videos, but I found this very interesting. Now we know that Louis Vuitton has been killing the game this year and is up like a mug. Get you some LVM stock. But let's talk about financial abuse from the Gen Z perspective. Gen Zs, if y'all out there, I know y'all watch the content, and I know some of y'all got Gen Zs. But we're gonna talk about healthy relationship, having a healthy financial relationship today. But let's talk about this. The title is Gen Z is buying luxury on an average at 15 years old. All right? 15 years old. Gen Z is walking around with Louis Vuitton on, with the LV. Right? With the latest and the greatest LV. Right? Yeah, they came back. All right. So let me make sure my sound is up. Yep. Check. Right? So let's get into it. And I'll read y'all comments as this plays.
Sales report for a temperature check on consumer spending. Rakuten, in collaboration with Vogue Business, has released a survey data from 1,200 Vogue and GQ readers to gain an understanding of today's luxury buyers and how current economic conditions are shaping their behavior. Here to discuss is Rakuten Rewards President Kristen Gold. Kristen, thank you for joining me this morning. So, as we're taking a look at what's been happening with inflation, how are you seeing that showing up in Rakuten's data?
The interesting thing is, from a consumer spending perspective and from a spending perspective overall in retail, we've seen relatively positive momentum in the first part of this year, and that aligns with the data that we've seen coming out about consumer spending in the larger market. What this means is that people have jobs, they still have pandemic savings accounts, and inevitably what that means is that consumer spending will continue to remain relatively positive despite the fact that everyone is nervous about the economy. We're seeing that really render itself well in luxury. Now, remember, luxury overall for the last couple of years has been a freight train, and this continues to be some.
Luxury has been a freight train. Luxury grew 20% in 2022 to reach 1.65 trillion. And I got an article over here that we're gonna talk about too. They're talking about Birkin bag maker sees pickup in U.S. demand for its pricey products. You're buying Birkins, you're getting Louis, but yet and still we the brokest? What is going on? Right? Let's go.
That as consumers decide how to spend, some of them are being a little bit more elevated about how they're spending their money, meaning they may be spending a little bit less on some of the things that don't matter to them, but they are still investing in luxury goods, which is why luxury is growing at the rate that it continues to.
Now, I was shocked looking at Gen Z's growth when it comes to luxury spending. Talk about the differences we're seeing generationally and why Gen Z, as we see here, their spending growing 3 times faster than other generations.
This was the craziest data of all to me as we were digesting this. So the thing about Gen Z is that they are starting to buy luxury significantly earlier than the generations before them. Gen Z starts buying luxury on average at 15 years old. If you look at Gen X and Gen Y, they purchased luxury at 22, 23, 25 was the first time that they sort of entered the luxury market. So Gen Z, because of how they've grown up digitally, they're very aware of luxury. They're also very aware of sustainability in purchasing, which means that they will buy fewer things, but they will buy better things. And for them, that may mean not buying 5 handbags, but buying 1 luxury handbag. And it's a very, very different mentality, both because they've been exposed to luxury from a very early age when previous generations weren't, but also they want to buy less, but buy better.
I mean, they most of them, from what we can see from the study, have the luxury of still living at home, so don't have some of the costs the rest of us have with things like rents and mortgage. But they don't also seem to be rushing to change any of this. I mean, 15 years old seems incredibly, incredibly young. How is that shaping how some of these advertisers are really approaching some of these buyers then?
I think from a luxury advertiser perspective, they're going to have to change how they reach people, where they reach people. It used to be that you would only be able to access luxury by going into a luxury store, either a department store or a boutique. Luxury brands during the pandemic moved online. They moved a little bit more to digital, but the access to luxury is going to be very important for these younger generations. The way that a lot of these younger generations started to work with luxury was resale and looking into sites like The RealReal and Tradesy and ThredUp. And what that allowed luxury brands to do is gain a lot of exposure with this audience. But what these luxury brands want is they want a conversation with that audience directly. It means that they're going to have to be in different digital channels. Chanel needs to be on TikTok. It's a very different paradigm from, I think, where they were 5 years ago even.
I mean, it really is. And I want to also talk about how people are funding their purchases, the growth of credit cards, buy now, pay later, and incentives. Where are you seeing the strongest growth in how some of these purchases are being funded?
The interesting thing that we saw, I assumed that all of this would be funded with credit and funded with buy now, pay later. But when we looked at our data, increasingly, it's really being funded with personal income. I think your point about how younger consumers are more often living at home. They have a lot of, discretionary.
Right there. So let's pause it. So it's being consumed by personal income. I keep preaching this to you all about getting your income up, getting your brokerage accounts up, setting up your foundation, making sure that you have your foundation stood up, your 3-bucket system. If you choose to do that strategy, I keep preaching this, right? I keep preaching this. We are also seeing Gen Z buying luxury as the parents and boomers, so that probably Gen X boomers are starting to grow broke because what? They're staying at home. They're piling their money. They learned. There's no need for me to go run out there and be independent. I'm dependent. I'm dependent. So they're going to stay at home. You all went and bought these big houses. What I need to go out here and pay $2,200 for rent when I could just stay at home, break you off a little something since you went to buy Nate. Let me get you a little something. And then let me go out with my friends. And if you really feeling froggy, you got about two or three cars. I just drive one of yours. Just put me on the insurance. I pay it. Sounds like a good business move to me. Right? Read your comments. The luxury bucket list. You said that, yep, that's when you entered the luxury market. I didn't enter the luxury market at 15 buying Louis. I don't even think I knew what Louis was. Do I have anything Louis Vuitton right now? I think I got some Louis Vuitton glasses. No, I got Gucci glasses. Yeah, I don't have no Louis Vuitton. I ain't never owned anything Louis. I'm a broke college student. That's where I'm at. TikTok. Let's see. They are influencers. Yes. This is why you started your channel. Got you. I gotta drop your channel in the chat. I'll pull it up. Instagram generation. That was talking to the luxury bucket list. Drop your channel in the chat. Rachel Thornton, you said marriage is overrated. Red bottoms hurt, Jennifer. Red bottoms hurt. They're not. They ain't built for women with big feet. I can tell you that. Anything over a 9, 10, they ain't built for it. They ain't. Them things cut. It cut like now. I don't even know how women be walking with them. That's well. Let me say this. I know why women be walking in them, and I know why they be walking funny. The Louis Vuitton hurt. It's not rich people buy stuff. It's the middle class and the poor. It is. I agree, Cherie. That's all you see on social media. The soft luxury life. Yeah, what they don't say is how much it costs to get that soft life. What they don't say is how much effort it takes to put into getting that soft life. Right? Money just well, let me not say money don't grow on trees. Let me say you got to work to get there. Let's see, influencers. Gen Z sharing this on social media and people having a fear of missing out. Correct. Gen Z spending on luxury and still staying at home with their parents. Yep. Is luxury goods a good investment? Well, some of them are, right? Like you got the polo life. Y'all know about the polo life, right? There will people only wear polo. Hence polo the don, but the polo life, right? I have to get on this wave, build the brokerage account up. Yeah, you need to build that up. Parents are dipping in the savings to help children as well. Yep. Tech and luxury are going to be a thing. Well, tech, luxury, blockchain, AI, and AR, VR, right? The ability to try on clothes and not go into the store, the ability to try out what I want and then, make sure got my measurements, this, that, and other, and just send me the latest and greatest. The buyers in the company, what are they buying? Do they have their client list set up, so forth and so on. I don't need to be in your store to get what I want, right? Because what I want, it may be in California. What I want may be overseas. And so I don't need to be there in order to get that. How do you get that to me? Right. My generation, most teens' first jobs were at retail or Burger King, correct? What are the trending items of Gen Z? Oh, yeah, we can go look that up. I have a VIP shopping party I was invited to. I may film it for my upcoming channel. Yeah, that's the thing. This is what I'm saying. The ways to create income and money is totally different than what it was in 93, what it was in 2005, what it was just 4 or 5 years ago. It's totally different. I never own any luxury bags or shoes. I only spend for luxury travel. Correct. Oh, you haven't done anything. Okay. I love my feet too. They have a luxury, better first job, Shopify store, and monetization YouTube. Yep. Yep. Sponsors. Yeah. So let's get back to it. So looking here, how luxury shoppers fund purchases, loyalty points, money gifted, personal savings, 46% on credit, but 71% is from personal monthly income. 71% is from personal monthly income. Let's get back to it.
Income, especially Gen Z. So they're using this discretionary income to fund these purchases. But increasingly, it is about how do I save money and how do I sort of gain, money back from companies like Rakuten, which is how do I get cash back on the purchases that I make. And then also, they are using buy now, pay later. They are using credit, but not to the extent that we actually thought that they were.
And so as we look at the average unit price, when you do have a bigger pool of people coming into this luxury market, how is that changing pricing?
So our average order value has gone up, really consistently over the last few years at Rakuten because specifically the luxury vertical has been driving it. So what it means is that what we're seeing is that consumers are buying fewer units overall. So they are buying less frequently, but when they buy, they are spending more. This is a very conscious consumer pattern. It's really interesting that the average order value continues to be sort of what's driving the market. Partially that's inflation, right? We know that prices went up, and we know that in luxury in particular, price increases were a huge thing over the last few years as luxury really tried to level set how they build their brands and at what price point they want to play. But there is this shift in average order value overall that really points to the fact that people are being very conscious about how they're spending their money and how many times they're purchasing.
So the more conscious consumer, an interesting trend to watch. Great stuff there. Rakuten Rewards President Kristen Gold, thank you.
All right, so they're looking at ways to save money, right? And also grow, right? So I have three things I want. Well, I have one thing I want to talk about, and then we're gonna move into the financial abuse section or portion of this conversation. All right. But first things first, let's close this one. Let's bring this over. LV. Well, I lied. It's gonna be more conversations. All right, LV. Bernard Arnault now is his worth is $210 billion. This came out April the 14th. Today's the 15th. He's worth $210 billion and has extended his lead over Elon Musk on the global billionaires list. Luxury stocks are on the roll, with Hermes reporting a strong results after LVMH. That is Mr. Bernard Arnault. Right? There's currently no dispute over who wears the crown of the wealthiest person if it isn't Tesla chief executive Elon Musk. The net worth of Bernard Arnault, the founder and the chairman and chief executive officer of LVMH, Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton, stood at 210 billion as of Thursday, according to Bloomberg Billionaire Index. This makes him the world's richest person by the marker, which with an increasingly comfortable lead over Tesla. Musk, who also leads SpaceX and Twitter, whose wealth is at 180 billion, right? 180 billion. I went on and found some more information. Here we are. LVMH breaks into the world's top 10 as market cap nears 500 billion. 500 billion, right? 500 billion, right? And we have this one here. The Birkin bag maker sees pickup in the U.S. demand for pricey products. All right. It says right here, getting a Birkin, which can sell from $10,000 at retail to record premiums of $450,000 at auction directly from its maker, is a difficult feature, one often achieved through celebrity status or at least a spending history with Hermes, right? The brand produces only a limited quantity for sale each year, right? So if you want a Birkin bag, that's where you're at. The owners are such as Tiffany Company and Dior late on Wednesday sales 17 billion for the first 3 months of the year. So luxury is up across the board when we're talking about this. All right. So now the question is, are these people financially abusing themselves? All right. Who is in line? So let's get into. Let me make sure this is not something I want to watch. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Let's do this one. Financially abusing yourself. All right, so let's go.
Amid fears of a recession and record high inflation, young adults are relying more on their parents for financial help. According to a new Bankrate survey, 68% of parents have made a financial sacrifice for their adult children. Now, Ted Rossman, Bankrate's senior industry analyst, is here with more on the survey. So, Ted, majority clearly of parents are helping out their adult children, which is defined in your survey as 18 and older. What was your takeaway from this, and how does this compare to your results in prior years?
Well, one big takeaway, I think, is it's hard to get about 7 in 10 people to agree on anything. So I do think that it's significant here that so many parents of adult children are supporting those kids. We don't have a lot of historical info. We did a study back in 2019 that was all about retirement savings, and we actually found a little bit more people back then saying that they were cutting into their retirement savings to help their kids. But, this time we got a little deeper about emergency savings and debt payoff. And I really think across the board, this is more of an issue now than it was certainly 10 or 20 years ago. I mean, I do empathize with young adults. I think it's harder now to get started given student loans, given high rents, that sort of thing.
Well, I'm looking at the results of your survey here. Specifically, at what age do you think a person should start paying each of the following items or bills on their own? And when you look at the overall results, there's nothing under the age of 20. In other words, car payments, that starts at 20, car insurance at 20. Then at 23, you have health insurance and student loans. Even if you break it down by generation, not shown on the screen there, but baby boomers, their lowest number is 19. So they think that they should be paying for youngsters car insurance until the age of 19. This seems to me a generational shift to me, because I remember 20 years ago, those numbers seem a little bit high. But how does it? Why is this phenomenon happening? Can you put some underpinning behind this? Is it simply that much more expensive? Is it that more difficult to enter the labor force and establish oneself? What's going on here?
I think even if you were to back out inflation, I do think life is more expensive now than it was when, say, boomers were that age. I mean, I think there's no doubt that student loan burdens have grown, rent costs are way up, barriers to entry for the home buying market are much higher now. So I do think there are some real challenges here. You might say also that there could be a bit of helicopter parenting going on. I mean, I do think there are some risks here. Even though we want to be empathetic and we want to help our kids, I do think there are some downsides. You know, one, I worry that parents are hurting their own finances because, hey, life's expensive for them too. And if you're going to finance a 30-year retirement and pay for healthcare costs, I mean, there are some risks to cutting into your own nest egg. But then the other thing is...
So let's start right there. 30-year retirement. All right. So I want to address some stuff in the comments, but first I'm going to talk about this. All right. So financing your children, right? They all wrap into together. We talk about this over here all the time about your financial journey. What does that look like? How you all are gonna be? How you need to set your foundation up, right? So this is going to go into a question that you asked, Brianna, that can you start buying luxury now? You can buy anything you want. You can be financially abusive to yourself. You can do anything that you want. My suggestion, and this is not financial advice, these are just things that I have learned along the way, is make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to do. Make sure that you are setting up and I like to look at it like this. I like to look at it as a foundation. Make sure you set up yourself where you're saying, okay, am I contributing to my 401k or my IRA? And do I have that set up? You may not invest in individual stocks, but you should at least have a brokerage account, or you can do dollar cost averaging into certain stocks. Stick for you, and this is really what I tell everybody, stick with the aristocrats and the kings. If you don't know what those are, look them up and we can have another conversation. I've gone over that on this show a lot. If you're not comfortable with aristocrats and kings, go with ETFs. Best places for you to start at, a lot of people like M1 Finance, a lot of people like Charles Schwab, a little bit more sophisticated, and Fidelity, a little bit more sophisticated. Next thing I'm gonna tell you, whatever company you're working for, they should have what they call EAP. And within EAP or within that company, they should have access to some type of financial planner or some type of financial advisor. The other thing to do is, if you do open up a brokerage account in M1 or Edward Jones or whatever, they have webinars. They have webinars, and you can schedule a consultation. Do it. Schedule your consultation. Put yourself on a budget and put yourself on a plan. The other thing that you want to do is you also want to make sure that if you got some type of HSA or something like that, make sure you go ahead and invest into your HSA. If you can, You want to be tax deferred because you're at 85. Put as much as you can tax deferred for now, right? Until you increase your income more, say you get up to 150 or something like that. But you're gonna have to find a balance in all of that. And last but not least, you're gonna have to have some money in a liquid account, or liquid or dry powder as they call it, and put that money into some money market account where it's earning, right? That's where you want to be at. Um, Another thing I did want to bring up is at the end of this month, you all, I bonds are going to go from 6.89 to, I think, 3.29 is what they're predicting. So if you haven't gotten in on the I bonds, you need to go ahead and buy some more. I'm gonna go buy me some tonight, April the 30th. They're gonna drop. I'm going to go buy me some more tonight. Another thing, start looking at T bills. I'm gonna do another show on T bills because I've been following and watching this for a while, and I've been wanting to bring that up, but I'm going to bring that back up. Third, for those of you that don't understand anything about stocks, I'm going to say this: dollar cost average, DCA, right? DCA your way into a stock. For example, if you don't want to spend $190 on a share, don't. Spend $5 in Edward Jones, and not Edward Jones, in Fidelity, and in Charles Schwab. I think they're called slices and something else. Spend $5 and buy you some slices. You know LVM is growing. You do know that other things are growing. You can be what you purchased. You can have some ownership into that. That's just what I think. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just trying to get you into the game, and I want you to set up your foundation. You need to start working on your foundation. You need to make sure you got a brokerage account. You need to make sure you have some type of 401k, a money market for your savings account. You also need to make sure you got some type of liquid account where it's earning money, and your emergency fund. What is your emergency fund? Your emergency fund is whatever your bills are total a month. You should at least have, I say, a year, but just let's start out with just at least having about a month or 2 months of that. Why? You get laid off and you're spending that time looking for a job. You're not earning income. You're spending time looking for a job. Your bills are still coming in. So how do you take care of yourself? Well, one way people would do it is they will have money in their 401k, but then that's taking a loan out, but you got to pay it back. So there's a problem there. Or you have your emergency fund. If you listen to Dave Ramsey, he says put $1,000 away. Most of you all don't even pay $1,000 in rent. So that does not even make sense to me. You need to at least have your rent, your car note, your insurance. The other thing that people miss out on in their emergency fund is when you have to go to the doctor because you are unemployed. You need to have some, that's where your HSA comes in and saves the day. So you can at least have your HSA with some money in there. Not only having your HSA with money in there, you can also to have your liquid build up as well. The other thing that you can get and that you can do, if you don't want to do just a liquid, you can have your brokerage account be as your emergency fund. So you can have, so it plays in the stock market. But if you got to figure out what your risk tolerance is. Are you are you aggressive? Are you moderately aggressive? Are you conservative? Are you in between that? What does that look like? And so you can put your emergency fund in your brokerage account. And so here's the other thing that you can do while you can use your brokerage account. You can take a loan from your brokerage account. So you can loan yourself off your money, right? So that's one way. So I'm just giving you what the options are. Your best bet is to sit down and come up with a budget and understand all the different avenues that you can set for your foundation. And once you set your foundation, then you start just putting, you just, when that money come in, it just goes out to those things, right? It goes straight to your HSA. You can take that money and put it into your brokerage account. You can then have your money in the money market. You can then go buy some more on CDs. You can then go buy some bonds or something of that nature. But you need to have a strategy and you need to set that up. And don't steer away from it. And this is why I say when you're dating and you're having this, you're having your own financial journey and you're having this conversation with yourselves and you're making sure you're financially responsible. When you meet someone and you're not, and that person is not comfortable having a investment conversation with you, or you're not, yeah, or you can't have a, you're not comfortable with having this conversation, or you feel like, oh, I'm a know-it-all, then it's just not the person for you. That's just my thing, right? That's just my thoughts. Right. Yeah, it's just so much easier to have that automatically come out and then take care of it. But again, last but not least, you got to pay yourself. It doesn't make sense for you to go to work and you don't have some type of fun, right? But you're gonna have to budget what that fund is, your fund money, right? What does that look like? Your fund money may be like, look, I see this growing, right? I know when I started looking at money and I was like, ooh, look at that in my account. Every chance I got, I was like, ooh, let me go, ooh, I got an extra $10. Let me go put it over there in that account. Or let me go buy a stock. Or let me go buy something over here that's gonna make it grow, right? And people laugh when you start talking about 4%, 5%, or whatever. But I looked at my account because I got one on my Charles Schwab account. I made another account. And in that account, I was just playing around with it. I was like, I'm gonna put Apple, Johnson and Johnson, and Amazon in there. Apple is kicking their booty in that account. In that account, Apple has returned me 25% on my money. And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna go back and double down on some more Apple. I could be in the ETF, but I am in the ETF in another account. But in this particular account, I'm not in the ETF, right? I just play around with it. Another thing, when you sign up for like Charles Schwab in One Finance, get the newsletters. For those of you that play options, they actually have options out there. They have an options newsletter that I get every single day. In the morning, they were like, "Well, this is what it's looking like, and what the market is looking like." So if you want to play options and you want to get into options, they actually have training for you. They have a whole training program. They have a whole webinar for you to go join and learn how to play options. Get you a couple of books. Don't do nothing that's too risky when you're playing options. Just pick something that's small. And once you get an understanding and your footing on it, on what puts are, and and go from there. I'm not telling you to go run out there and put $5,000. Don't do that. Do something small, $100. Do something small. That's it. But understand what that means. Now, a lot of times when you're playing options or you're starting to invest, most people want you to have, well, I think is it 1,000 shares of a stock, or is it 100 shares? I think it's 100 shares of a stock, maybe 1,000. I can't remember. But again, when you do this, when you're looking at this, make sure you understand this. And if you don't understand it, the platforms have phone numbers and webinars that you can call people. And if you still don't understand it, find a group of people who are doing these things so you can sit down and have a longer discussion about it, right? I don't know why it's so hard for us to have conversations about our financial journey and where we need to be and what we want to do. I don't know. Now, out of all of that, I haven't even talked about investing in the real estate. So you want to invest in real estate? It's 100 shares. Thank you. If you want to invest in real estate, guess what? You don't have to go buy land. You can invest in REITs, REIT. You can go on Fundrise. You can go Arrived Homes. You can go to a dozen other ones. You got to figure out what you want to look like when it comes to that, right? So on those particular brokerage accounts, you can look for REITs that are performing well, right? Again, learning how to read charts is a thing. Learning how to read the prospectus is a thing. Spend time doing it. Have a meetup that where y'all gonna say, okay, today we're gonna look at LVMH and we're gonna look at the prospectus of LVMH and we're gonna talk about the prospectus of LVMH. We're gonna talk about the prospectus of not Louis Vuitton, but Hermes, or we're gonna talk about Tiffany, or we're gonna talk about Nike. Go read the prospectus. Go understand these things. Spend time doing this, right? Spend like hell, create a panel and do this, right? Another thing, when we're talking about making your investments, make sure you understand the market in which you're investing in and the why you're investing in. Make sure you understand your market and make sure you create your own club or join a club, whatever the case may be. But don't be on the sideline working and not investing in your own future, in your own money, in your own journey. It makes no sense. We have access to too much information. I've given so much information on this channel where you can make small steps. I'm not telling you to make leaps and bounds, just small steps. All right. My mad rant is over. My mad rant is over. All right. Mad rant. Look, D is like, is it? My mad rant is over. All right. Let me do this. Oh, just say, D, you said something in the back? Oh, okay. Cool. All right, let's get back to it. We finish the video off, and then I want to give you financial abuse information that you can take with you, and so you can recognize financial abuse when you see it, and when you hear it, and when you're involved with others. All right, let's go.
Enablement. You don't want to be a blank check. You don't want to be contributing to this failure to launch. So it's hard to know exactly where and how to cut the cord, but I do think it's something that multiple generations are wrestling with right now.
Well, so what are some of the things that maybe our viewers out there should be considering if you want your child to be financially independent? Maybe they're not 18 yet. What are some of the steps or some of the things that people can be doing to set their children up for success?
I think financial literacy starts at home. It's often not taught in school. I think you also need to be really clear with your kids about expectations. It's great if you can afford to help. Remember that thing on the airline, though, about put your oxygen mask on before helping others. I mean, we don't want to do this to your own detriment, but if you can afford to help, do it, but maybe with some guidelines. And maybe you pay for certain things for a certain amount of time, but not forever and not everything. Or if your kids are living with you, maybe you charge them nominal rent, or they contribute to the household costs like groceries and utilities. And maybe you even bank some of that as kind of a freedom fund, and you can give it to them later on as part of the security deposit for an apartment or the down payment on a home. I think it's important to be empathetic, but also to have some guardrails and some tough love at times.
Yeah, we've seen so many things change over the last 3 to 4 years because of the pandemic, notwithstanding other exogenous factors as well. Just wondering, have the tough conditions that we experienced over the last few years, are those abating somewhat given the most recent survey or any other surveys that you've been conducting?
At least the job market's strong. I mean, that's one real silver lining here. On other fronts, it's more difficult, though. High inflation, higher interest rates, these are things that are definitely weighing on people. We see more people carrying credit card debt. We see those rates at record highs. These are things that I worry about on both sides of this, because we're saying it's hard for young adults to get started, and it is, but what about those 50 or 60 or 70 something parents? I mean, if they're carrying credit card debt in retirement, that's a tough one. And chances are their bills have all gone up, including healthcare. That's a really big one for older people. So I do think that you need to kind of strike that right balance and make sure to prioritize the relationship too, because we found in a different study that about half of people who've lent money to family or friends had something go wrong. They lost money, their credit score was damaged, the relationship was damaged. You want to be.
Let's ask this question. How many of y'all lend money out? How many of y'all lend money out, right? Brianna, you're welcome. I don't want to finish that video. I actually want to move on. All right, so let's do this one. Let's talk about it. You lend it out for a fee. Some people say no. I haven't lent money in years. I lend money. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. All right, let's get into it. About financial abuse. All right. Financial abuse, and it looks small on the screen, so let me blow it up a little more. All right. Financial abuse is a common tactic used by abusers to gain power and control in a relationship. The forms of financial abuse may be subtle or overt, but in general include tactics to conceal information, limit the victim's access to assets, or reduce accessibility to the family finances. Financial abuse, along with emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, include behaviors to intentionally manipulate, intimidate, and threaten the victim in order to entrap that person in the relationship. In some cases, financial abuse is present throughout the relationship. You being abused and you don't even know it. Got $100 shoes, you don't even know it. Got my Louis Vuitton, you don't even know it. Got my Birkin bag, you don't even know it. So in some cases, financial abuse is present throughout the relationship, and in the other cases, financial abuse becomes present when the survivor is attempting to leave or has left the relationship. Yeah, that's what I said. Some of them let you land on your stocks. Yeah, it was some good advice shared on that one. All right, so let's go. Financial abuse, while less commonly understood, is one of the most powerful methods of keeping a survivor trapped in an abusive relationship and deeply diminishes the victim ability to stay safe after leaving an abusive partner. Research indicates that financial abuse occurs in 99% of domestic violent cases. 99%. I say financial abuse can lead to the domestic violence. I see that. All right, so forms of financial abuse. As with other forms of abuse, financial abuse may begin subtly and progress over time. It may even look like love initially, as abusers have the capacity to appear very charming and are masterful at manipulation. I want to say this. I've been on the different shows and panels listening. And fellas, let me say this. This is because fellas are the ones that said this. And ladies, listen up. I hear out here in these streets, out here in this, I'm gonna call it out here in these Freaknik streets, because that's what it be sounding like to me. That men say, don't tell your wife about the financial problems that y'all are having in the family. Don't tell her. They also say, don't tell her that you had to go get help from a financial planner. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I can tell you all don't talk to financial planners by giving that advice. Why? Because when you go talk to a financial planner, one of the things they're going to ask you, are you married? Do you have kids? Well, yeah, I do. And they're like, okay, cool. Um, does your wife work? Yeah, she works. Yeah, my wife works. Or she's a stay-at-home mom. Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Why she not here, my guy? She need to be here, my guy. I'm telling you, they're not gonna continue to have the conversation with you because it's a family thing. I don't, again, I liken this, like I said before, I'll give this example again. I'm going to keep giving this example because it hits home both ways. We at the 20-yard line. Tom Brady, we in the red zone. Tom Brady goes to the huddle. Donovan McNabb goes to the huddle. Y'all get in the huddle. The offensive linemen, the tight ends, the receivers, fullback, running backs. They all know the play he getting ready to call. He call a play. They know their assignment. They run out the huddle. They get up to the line. Tom Brady comes up. He looking. He calls an audible. Everybody still know their assignment and still know what they need to do. They run their routes. Boom, they done. Right? So here's my thing. If Tom Brady and the offensive linemen know the plays, why can't you have that conversation, husband and wife, wife, husband, whatever, wife, husband, whatever you identify as a cat and a tree in the conversation financially? Why is it that y'all can't have a conversation about your finances? You are abusing each other. It is abuse if the wife doesn't know. It is abuse if the husband doesn't know. The reason why I do the shows, the petty T shows, because I want you to see how subtle financial abuse is and how financial abuse leads to abuse in other ways. In one instance, we've seen where the guy gave up his credit card. He was financially abusing himself because he didn't have no control. Not only that, she felt like she was his mother. So it caused a strain in their marriage because now she goes from being his wife, who she wants to make love to her husband, to now she's like, I'm your mama. I'm your mama. I'm your daddy. I'm that nigga in the alley. ID. Don't time me out. So it says if you marry, you can't make financial decisions for your future without your right. Yeah, you can. Yeah. That's why I said, that's why I know people don't talk to financial advisors. Wow, some folks forget your marriage is a financial partnership. It is. It's a lot of partnerships in that. It's a financial partnership, it's an emotional partnership, it is a friendship, it is a family ship because you got to deal with his family, her family, if they got family, if they got mamas and daddies left, right? Yeah, it's a quick way to lose attraction, yes. But not now let's flip it on the other end where we looked at the one with the guy where the wife had the YouTube channel and she was making more on her YouTube channel than he was, and they were millionaires, and he still didn't feel adequate. And so his inadequacies blended into her. So he restricted her from doing stuff. He restricted himself from doing stuff. So she's in here pleading with him, and he's like, I ain't no. We can't go to the apps. You may want to go, but I can't afford us going to the apps. So because I can't afford us going to the apps, then you must be regulated to where I dictate and say where we can go because it makes me feel better for doing that. Financial abuse. I have shown you multiple ways where that financial abuse leads to other areas of abuse emotionally. Now, you add in children, you're showing children how to abuse each other financially. Same way, you're showing children as they get older how to abuse their spouse, their significant other over time. Right? And you don't think about it that way, but this is what happens, right? So let's go and look at some things, right? It says this scenario commonly leads to an abuser giving the victim less and less in an allowance, and they're just talking about on a DV case, But let's look at this. In other cases, financial abuse may be overt. Abusers commonly use violence or threats of violence and intimidation to keep the victim from working or having access to family funds. Whether subtle or overt, there are common methods that abusers use to gain financial control over their partner. All right. These include forbidding the victim to work. I'll say I even go one step further. The victim not working, right? The victim not wanting to work. For somebody not wanting to work, right? All right. So next one, sabotaging work or employment opportunities by stalking or harassing the victim at work, or causing the victim to lose his or her job by physically battering prior to important meetings or interviews, forbidding the victim from attending a job training or advancement opportunities, controlling how all of the money is spent, not including the victim in investment or banking decisions, not including the victim access to bank accounts, withholding money or giving an allowance, forcing the victim to write bad checks or file fraudulent tax returns, running up large amounts of debt on joint accounts, refusing to work or contribute to the family income, withholding funds from the victim or children to attain basic needs such as food and medicine, hiding assets, stealing the victim's identity, property, or inheritance, forcing the victim to work in a family business without pay, refusing to pay bills and ruins the victim credit score, forcing the victim to turn over public benefits or threatening to turn the victim in for cheating or misusing benefits, filing false insurance claims, refusing to pay or evading child support, or manipulating the divorce process by drawing it out or by hiding or disclosing assets. I'll add to this, because you don't want to pay child support, man and woman, you decide to stop working, which causes it to go into arrears when you go back to work, which causes it to get garnished. You get married, you don't tell her you've been financially abusive to yourself and to your children, and now they come along, they be like, oh, you got some more income? Oh, homegirl over there making some money? Give me that check too. Vice versa, same way for a woman too. All right. What is the impact? Well, the impact is mistrust. The impact is mistrust, right? You don't trust the person anymore. You're not sure who the person is anymore. So let me ask this, fellas. When if a woman runs up the credit card, or she runs up it causes more debt, or she takes out a credit card, and you don't know about it, and you don't get the card, but she been running it up and it shows on your credit, do y'all still want to have sex? I'm asking. I'm asking. Are you still sexually attracted to her? Right? To do right. That's true, Adele. It's abuse when you do not have good financial practices of gambling or spending money like water. Cosmic Wisdom said one of my married friends had to ask her husband for money and to go to brunch, and she works in the R&D field. Brian said, I was 20, in my early 20s. My husband would let me see that his paychecks made me so uncomfortable, but my dad also always kept income as a bit secret. Yep, you just followed the pattern. You just followed the pattern. A Queen Lee says, hell no. Leader, you said that's a funny question. So let's flip it. Ladies, he's been out and about in these streets. He's like, babe, I love you. Y'all struggling every month, but he was like, you deserve so much more. So he goes and buys a car for you all that you really can't afford. But he bought it for you because he loves you. Is that manipulation? Is that financial abuse or is that love? What do you recognize that at? Is there trust there? Financial abuse, manipulation, or is it love? Is love? Why do I feel this way? Why does she stay on my mind? Let me know. Ronnie, Bobby, Mickey, and Mike. It's abuse. Charlene says it's abuse. But he loves you though. He got the car for you. He got that car for you. He it was his gift to you. That man loved you. That man loves you. So is it abuse? Is it manipulation? Or is it love? You all really can't afford it, but he got it for you. And he said, we're going to figure out a way to afford it. Let me lead, woman. Let me lead, woman. I am your father. Look, I am your father. New York has a law on financial abuse. I had to look it up. Right? So, do you recognize that as abuse? Do you recognize that as manipulation? Do you recognize that as love? Because he loves you. He got the car for you. You know y'all really can't afford it. He went and got you the A-class Benz for $700 a month. $200 on the insurance, an extra $1,000 out. Cause he love you, girl. Cause I love you, girl. Oh, Lenny Williams. Cause I love you, girl. When I done bought this car for you with the AMG package. Come outside and see it with the bow on. Cause I love you, girl. Manipulation, mistrust, abuse, financially and emotionally. Or is it love? Right? What if she went out and did the same thing for her man? What if she went out and got it for her man? She's like, I wanted him to have something. I know we may not can afford it, but baby, he hit you, she hit you with the Jodeci, baby. Right? She hit you with the Jodeci. She's like, this F-150 is for you. This Tesla X is for you. It ain't for me. Babe, I know you be out here working hard. I know you be out here working. Your tires was looking bald. I saw them. She was like, I know you've been good because I followed you to work like Orange Juice Jones. I know you've been good. All right? I know you've been good. So I got you this F-150. It's $75,000. It's okay. We're going to figure it out. Even if I got to make a YouTube channel, even if I got to get out here and work, babe, we're going to be good because I want you to have this. It's only $1,500 a month. Why you complaining? Damn. Why you always crying about stuff? I did this for you. I got a car. I want us to be happy. I want to see you happy. Can you at least smile and act like you like it? Then you ask her the question, where you get this from? She's like, oh, I got this from a buy here, pay now lot. I ain't go to the dealer. I went to the dealer and they denied me. So I went somewhere else. So weekly payment is $800. But we got it, babe. We got it, babe. This for you. This F-150 for you. That way you can pick up your people and go to the construction site. That way you can cut the grass and stuff like that. Just get out there and cut more grass, babe. I'm doing this for us. I see the soldier in you. I see the winner in you. Don't worry about the payment. Worry about making money. Don't worry about the payment. We're gonna be all right. So did she financially abuse you? Did she manipulate you? Is it love? Did she abuse the trust? Right? Did she believe in you? Does she believe in you? I know you can do it. Let's get back to it. The impact of financial abuse. The short and long term effects of financial abuse can be devastating. In the short term, access to assets is imperative to staying safe. Without assets, survivors are often unable to obtain safe and affordable housing or funds to provide for themselves or their children. With realistic fears of homelessness, it is a little wonder that survivors sometimes return to the abusive partner. For those who manage to escape the abusive and survive initially, they often face overwhelming odds in obtaining long term security and safety. Ruined credit scores, sporadic employment histories, and legal issues caused by the abuse make it extremely difficult to gain independence, safety, and long term security. They also have on here a financial abuse fact sheet. They have stuff from the Economic Justice, and they also have the Allstate Foundation Moving Ahead curriculum. I'm assuming that's after you come out of financial abuse and how to move ahead, right? They got quick tips for survivors. They got a financial management curriculum, resources to plan for financial safety. Remember, you can financially abuse yourself. You could be the person that's buying the F-150 for yourself on your credit. You could be the person that's buying that AMG on your credit and financially abusing yourself. Abuse comes in all forms. It doesn't necessarily come from someone else. It can come from you. So you need to go on a health diet. I mean a financial diet. All right. You need to go on a financial diet. Right. All right. This is my last little one. And then we out of here. Mm-mm-mm. All right, this one. For the marriage couples, for marriage couples out there, because I know some of you are married or want to get married, right? So, financial abuse in marriage, 9 signs, tactics, and how to deal. There's a video that I want to go through tonight. I didn't want to go through it today because it's just he's he's a he's a dull guy, but he talks about financial abuse from being a single from a dating perspective. And when I say dating, when you're like literally just out here in the world just dating people, not having sex with them, but dating people, right? All right, so financial abuse in marriages, 9 signs, tactics, and how to deal. I won't give you the spiel here. Let's just hop down here and hop into the 9 signs. Denial of access to money, intense monitoring of spending, right? Giving an allowance, financial lies, secrecy, or deception. Sounds like a Hallmark show to me. Financial lies, secrecy, and deception. Financial infidelity, bullying and aggressive behavior, emotionally withholding behaviors, and coexistence of drug, alcohol, sex, and gambling addiction, and coexistence of narcissism. Deep, deep. Let's back up. Start from the beginning. Denial access of money. All right. So blow it up a little bit. That one's a good one right there. All right. Withholding resources such as access to bank accounts, credit cards, financial statements, transportation, property, healthcare, or even food is an offensive and neglective way to isolate a victim in an abusive relationship. This can happen between parents and children, and relationships that involve financial dependence, like sick elderly or disabled person who is in the care of someone. Financial abuse can also happen in the workplace setting, business partnerships, and basically any relationship where people fully or partially share financial assets. All right. Intense monitoring of spending. Ladies, you're out here intent. You're out here intense. You spent $5 yesterday. What you spend that on? You spent $20 yesterday. Why? Why'd you go over here and spend this 30 for what? Right, fellas, same thing. What you go to Target for now? What you in Target for now? Right? When your partner is accessing your online banking records or review receipts from store purchases or online transactions with judgment and scrutiny, consider that intense monitoring and or spending. I bet you some of y'all doing that now and didn't even know it. Y'all here just financially just abusing each other, abusing it up. You didn't even know it. Right? These actions can feel like an invasion of privacy and cause a lack of trust and mutual respect in the relationship. When you feel like you're being micromanaged and controlled, it may trigger some defensiveness or feelings of needing to justify, rationalize, or explain spending behaviors. All this may lead to feelings of resentment and hardened anger. Right? The heightened level of financial accountability might be something you or your spouse agree upon during the times of financial stress when you're working together or managing each other's spending. It might also be necessary if you're recovering from a shopping addiction. However, ultimately, each of us should be responsible for financial lives and decisions. We need to operate in our financial relationships with honesty, integrity, transparency, and accountability. JM, you said, I don't want no woman to tell me how to spend my money. Well, if y'all married, any y'all money? If y'all married, any y'all money? I'm asking. If you married. So I don't know. Do y'all have a discussion? I don't know, right? Giving an allowance. I won't read about that. You know what that is. But let's talk about financial lies, secrecy, or deception. A lack of financial transparency can erode trust in a marriage, especially when somebody exhibits shady financial behaviors. Maybe it's unexplained wads of cash in their wallet. Or perhaps are suddenly changing passwords on shared accounts and claiming they don't remember the new login. Financial infidelity. This is when lies and secrecy reach a level of betrayal, such as having secret debt or assets. Several times in my practice, a client has discovered that their spouse had a secret second partner and family. This is a prime example of financial infidelity. All right. Bullying and aggressive behavior. This may include yelling, swearing, throwing objects, invading someone's personal space, or generally threatening behaviors. These behaviors are used to coerce or scare the victim of financial abuse into submission. Emotionally withholding behaviors. To control financial decisions, choices, and behaviors, people can refuse hugs and kisses, sex, or other signs of personal affection and emotional connection. Unfortunately, financial abuse in a marriage is very common, especially when it comes to domestic violence. In fact, financial abusers occurs in 99% of domestic cases in the United States. Moreover, it shares many of them of the same components of other invisible types of abuse in a relationship, such as emotional, sexual, coercion, and parental alienation. In this case, the focus is on money and fostering financial independence and financial control. We know what gambling and substance abuse does, but coexistence of narcissism. According to DSM-5, narcissism is a personality trait disorder consisting of pervasive patterns of grandiosity in favor or in fantasy or behavior, a constant need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. Because narcissists tend to view their partners as an extension of themselves rather than a whole or separate person, they often feel entitled to make decisions and choices on behalf of both partners on their own. This disempowers their partner and makes them a victim of financial abuse in a marriage. This is what I hear in these tech streets, in these YouTube streets. Sounds like financial abuse to me. That's what it sounds like to me. And I knew I wasn't crazy. But I just wanted to have proof to back it up. I'm going to drop that link so y'all can go read it on your own. You can check it out. You can check out their resources and whatever else they have on here. All right. And then they got common financial abuse tactics, financial shaming and put downs, dangling the carrot, dangling the carrot. Girl, come get with me because I'm financially stable. I make over $100,000. I'm debt free. You just need to be the housewife. Dang the carrot, right? So dangling the carrot. When an abuser manipulates the victim by claiming the financial choices they want to make them to back up. This is when the abuser manipulates the victim by claiming the financial choices they want them to make or to help them reach a long-term financial goal. However, in reality, they may simply be looking to benefit from short-term gains, such as having extra money to spend at the bar. At the bar. Manipulation is a form of emotional abuse that aims to exploit, control, or otherwise influence others to one's advantage. Gaslighting. Financial abusers often use gaslighting to get away with financial abuse because it is a means to make the other person feel crazy, guilty, or responsible for various situations. Common gaslight phrases are you're being paranoid, you're overreacting, that never happened, interfering with your job, stonewalling. This involves a total shutdown and refuses to talk about financial matters with the partner or the neutral mediator, such as a financial advisor, planner, debt consolidator, agency, financial therapist, or coach. The official name that you all been doing to yourselves is stonewalling. You won't go talk to your family members if you could. You won't go get help from your own help from like a financial planner or advisor, and you don't have friends to talk to. So you've been stonewalling. That's the official name. You've been stonewalling yourself. And academic abuse. Financial abusers may also be guilty of academic abuse. If they can restrict their partner's education, they can limit their earning potential and increase their financial independence. I talked about this last week. Women need to be working on second retirement, need to be saving up for second retirement, right? All right, and then they got the impacts and so forth. It's a long article, but you can see low self-esteem, poverty, low loss of social support, career impairment, trauma to the brain, parental alienation, financial hardship for the children, future risk of abuse, and death by suicide. Right? I would actually probably change this to financial abuse in relationships. Just personal there. All right. Well, I hope y'all got your money's worth today. I wanted to get that out there. I had a ton of my other stuff, but we're gonna go to our next show, and then we'll go from there. I hope you enjoyed. Again, Freaknik tape come out. You might see your mamas, your daddies, and your grandpas, and papas, and meemaws on there, but it's okay. Don't stop. Get it.